just that ability to identify how can I connect with another person on a human level
Right.
and being able just to jump in. It's very similar. Like what we do is very similar
Sure.
in terms of with coaching. What I do is take a real curiosity approach. I'm fascinated by humans
Right.
and being able to sit down and say, well, what is it about your business that's feeling unsteady?
Sure.
What is it about that you want to do to garner up more confidence in your leadership, in your business, potentially in your personal life? Yeah.
We say it's easy, but I will mention that
Mhm.
it's taken a ton of practice to get here. And, I just made a post on social media the other day saying, you know what, it's easy to be mean. It's easy to be rude and introverted. No matter who you are, it takes work to be an extrovert, to be social, to be kind, to be respectful. Those things aren't just natural to humans, I don't believe. I think it does take effort, and I've had to really go out of my comfort zone many, many
Mm.
times. And even still, I mean, as natural as it comes once I'm in that conversation, it's easy to just sit behind my computer and get trapped in that comfort zone of hiding behind my screen.
Welcome to the Karas Wright Show. I'm Karas Wright. I am so excited to be having this conversation. I've got Codie Longley, and we are having a real conversation, no fluff, about everything marketing, from strategy to day-to-day implementation. So let's get into it. Codie, welcome to the show. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, good.
Good.
All things marketing.
All things marketing.
Yes. It's so important for businesses to have a strong marketing strategy. What's one piece of grounded advice that you give to people as in your either in your role as a realtor or in your role as account manager for the radio station?
One piece of advice that's
Yeah.
tough. There's so much to know about it, but I suppose if I had to break it down to one, would be to really believe in what it is that you're providing the world, whether it's a service, a product. It doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're a dentist or a salesperson, working in the oil field, whatever it is, you are always putting yourself out there for some reason, and to really believe in it and know that whatever it is you're providing the world is a good thing. And then the marketing gets so much easier because you don't feel like you're asking people for things. You're understanding that you're providing the world with something. And when you twist that mental thought process, then it feels less egotistical and more of a humbling opportunity, I think. And I think anybody I've ever talked to about marketing and putting themselves out there, that's always seems to often be a big hurdle, is kind of getting over that fear of putting themselves out there. Even if it is a brand, it's still something that they know that they've put their whole heart into. And so they're a little bit hesitant to put themselves really out there into the world.
Mhm. It's such a critical component, but something you said there really resonated with me. It's that shifting the ask to giving.
Yeah.
And so what do you do to help your clients navigate through that transition?
Yeah, I mean, I think a big part of it is what is it that you're providing? Why do you do what you do in the first place? And then discussing that, as a realtor, for example, I can go into it thinking, oh, I don't want to bother everybody and make them think that they have to use me as a realtor. But at the same time, I can switch that thought process and say, you know what? If my neighbor, my friends, my family uses a different realtor that is maybe not as experienced, or, maybe they're not going to go over and above the same way I would, then it's a disservice to them to not use my services. And I know for sure that I'm going to take extremely good care of them. Not only am I going to take care of them, but my preferred partners that I work with when it comes to lawyers and home inspectors and the whole list of companies that we work with, I'm certain that they'll take really, really great care of them. So, you kind of have to twist that. So if all of a sudden your neighbor comes and says that they have this horrendous story and it's a nightmare, you kind of have to shame yourself a little bit for not ensuring that they know you're there and available for them whenever they need.
Love that. There's such a difference in the energy.
Yeah,
Asking feels very like internal and I need versus giving is I'm expansive out into the world. And it sounds like there's a lot of clarity work that needs to happen in order to understand what you want to bring to the world and how. And so you said it starts with the why.
that's right.
It's really similar in the coaching process that
Right.
I help my clients with as well.
Sure.
So walk me through when you're dealing with somebody and they're still confused about that ask versus the offering and giving to the world. What do you walk them through?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose coming from the account manager side of the story with Golden West Broadcasting, oftentimes I'm going in looking for pain points that a company might be experiencing at that time. So, oftentimes it's they're looking to have more traffic, more brand awareness. Maybe there's a specific product within their company that they really wish the public knew about, and they just are trying to get it out there. It's such an overwhelming world when it comes to marketing that oftentimes people just shut down and choose not to do it at all. And so when I go in, it's just trying to figure out those pain points and then helping them walk through that, uh, starting with their personal problems. Because we can
Mm,
go in and assume what their issues are and then find out that that's not the issue at all. So I never like to make assumptions. I'm very big in it, just asking as many questions as I possibly can in order to really hear the person and exactly what they're looking for. I might think that they want to ramp up and gain more clients. And meanwhile, they're drowning in services that they can't keep up to, and they actually need to hire more staff or they need to, start to delegate some of these tasks that are on their plate. Um, so, first starting to find out what exactly their pain points are, and then kind of walking them through that. Because then all of a sudden, when you get to the marketing piece, they're saying, well, I don't want to put myself out there. Eventually you kind of get to that. Well, they're a little bit hesitant to put themselves out there in terms of the marketing point, if it does come down to that. Whether it's customers or hiring staff, there's a lot of different mental games that kind of can be played when it comes to owning a business, as you know, right?
yes, absolutely. I'm really getting the sense that you are just a naturally curious person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. How does that come to light?
I don't know. I just think humans are very interesting, and I've always been interested in that social aspect of everybody has a story, right? And even the bullies at school or the bullies within our work industries, there's a story always. And I just
Mm.
want to like pick people apart and figure out why they do what they do. And so that's definitely where a big part of my curiosity comes from. And then just the need to want to help them. I really always just want to see how can I help, in what way, even if it's small or big, whatever it is, and be able to connect with people on a more personal level.
Yes. Really, I'm like caring is at the heart of that.
Sure. Yeah.
And you even described that when you were talking about your realtor business. It's
Yeah.
about you're not selling somebody a home or like a house, you're helping them find the home
That's right.
that they want to. And it's almost there's a synergy there with what you're doing at Golden West as well.
Sure.
Mm,
Absolutely. Yeah.
wow. At the heart of things being curious, what what happens like when you're setting into your day, how do you get geared up for that?
A lot of coffee.
A lot of coffee.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, it's really just if I sit in my office
Mhm.
and I hide behind my computer, I can, like many people out there, I can just become my introverted self and not do any of this. But the second I can get out, get some fresh air, get some sun in my face, and start introducing myself to people, then it changes. It's just automatic. It's natural for me to start to ask people questions. What do you do for work? Where do you work? Where are you from? That's usually what I like to start with is where are you from originally? And then how did you end up where you are today, right? It's just easy.
It's so easy. Just that ability to identify how can I connect with another person on a human level
Right.
and being able just to jump in. It's very similar. Like what we do is very similar
Sure.
in terms of with coaching. What I do is take a real curiosity approach. I'm fascinated by humans
Right.
and being able to sit down and say, well, what is it about your business that's feeling unsteady?
Sure.
What is it about that you want to do to garner up more confidence in your leadership, in your business, potentially in your personal life? Yeah.
We say it's easy, but I will mention that
Mm.
it's taken a ton of practice to get here. And, I just made a post on social media the other day saying, you know what, it's easy to be mean. It's easy to be rude and introverted. It, no matter who you are, it takes work to be an extrovert, to be social, to be kind, to be respectful. Those things aren't just natural to humans, I don't believe. I think it does take effort, and I've had to really go out of my comfort zone many, many
Mm.
times. And even still, I mean, as natural as it comes once I'm in that conversation, it's easy to just sit behind my computer and get trapped in that comfort zone of hiding behind my screen. So it's not, as much as we say it's easy, it's not. But it does take practice and it does become more comfortable as you do it more and more.
I'm hearing deliberate, intentional practice
Yes,
to step out and not be the natural introvert.
that's right.
And I resonate with that
Sure.
because I am an introvert. I would sit and plan and just be a strategy person all the time.
Sure.
But you're right. There is an element of just going, okay, wait a second. I really do need to turn it on today. So if you were to give someone who is an introvert who really wants to step outside of their box and be an extrovert, what would you tell them their three top Codie insights to do so?
Yeah, I mean, I think just start small. You don't
Mhm.
have to jump into a huge crowd of 500,000 people and start shaking everybody's hands. There's lots of little groups around our own areas that have, there's the collective and there's Rotary clubs
Mhm.
and there's just all these different little groups that get together and you can kind of sit in the back and just watch other people, get to know how other people interact with each other and it's just kind of absorb those things that are around you, but it's not going to happen from your basement. I know this because I've done it. But just and then slowly trying out little things like icebreakers or asking people questions. And it's pretty amazing that, I think a lot of people are nervous to talk about themselves. But if you go into those conversations with the intent to talk about the other person and to somehow maybe even offer them a little bit of help or advice,
Mm.
then it's so much easier because you feel again like you're giving, not taking or asking.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. And I think there's that element when we look at marketing. It's so easy to stay as a business owner behind the screen, plan, and not start looking at the marketing.
Absolutely.
So you must see that a lot.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots.
What are you doing to help navigate those natural folks that are going to say, it's easier to stay small and stay
Sure.
simple? The argument that I have, or what I've run into a few times, or I've noticed in some of my other clients, is that it's easier to stay small because then you don't have to be vulnerable to rejection.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's also why people stay sitting in their basement in front of their screen instead of it going
Right?
out in front of people, right?
Yeah. So, what do you do to help encourage people to step outside of that comfort zone?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a cheerleader. So I just want to shout people's names from the rooftop. And I'm just really want them to feel so good about themselves. So, again, I bring out I remind them of their why, and then I maybe help them with some brand strategies and some maybe learning it, pulling out what it is that they're doing this for and why and what their favorite aspects of that business are, and then putting that out front. So then that is kind of their brand. That is, they're wearing their brand rather than being the brand. And, once they've kind of detached themselves a little bit from that, then all of a sudden they're not bragging about themselves, they're bragging about their brand.
Wearing their brand versus being the brand.
That's right.
Expand on that for me.
I mean, I think we're all really wearing a mask at the end of the day in some sort of a way. And so to allow these people to wear that as a mask rather than own it, it allows them to really put themselves out there, put that mask out there substantially more. You see it in mascots all the time. You could have the most shy, introverted person. You put a mascot outfit on them, and they do backflips in front of crowds of 500,000 people. And for them to recognize what they're offering, again, the world around them, and the joy that they can bring to people depending on what they're doing, even if it's oil field. I mean, the oil field, there's a lot of back and forth and a lot of criticism around it. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't be wearing the clothes that I'm wearing right now if it wasn't for the oil field. So there's a way to twist that to really help them understand that what they're offering the world is great. And if they don't want to put their name on it, that's okay. We can put another name on it that resonates with them. They can still love it. It can still be part of their heart, but they're not owning it as themselves. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they can put that out there way more.
Yeah. I think there's a misconception on marketing that it's a very narrow area, but you've just named the importance of sales, the importance of branding, the importance of social media aspect. So talk to me a little more about what is marketing in terms of being as expansive as it is.
Yeah, I mean, so marketing, it's such an overwhelming conversation right now because there's so many businesses, companies, brands out there, social media platforms that are just pulling everybody's attention. And you can't walk down the street right now without there being 700 different brands being thrown in your face visually. And so it just makes people, again, just kind of enclose themselves into their own little space. And it's so easy to throw your credit card nowadays into every platform and then just, 3,000 people will see this. Great. Click, click, click. And then they feel like, oh, well, I'm doing it. If it's not working, it must just be because people don't want my services. And it's not necessarily a very accurate option because you have to kind of look at it as a holistic view on how to market. Now, there's obviously many, many different companies out there that can market in a million different ways. And that's kind of where with the radio station anyways, we go in and we really want to know what it is that their goals are in particular. If you're an author that wrote a book and you just want to get your book signing this weekend out there, your marketing is going to look extremely different than, a big electrical company that maybe has different companies all the way across Saskatchewan and Alberta. So there is definitely something for everybody when it comes to social media, online, websites, broadcasting. It's just really getting to know which one would best suit the company that's being talked to. Regardless of what a company is offering, a website like Google Sites is free. Even if it's a one-page, your name and phone number. This is how you get a hold of me, as long as people have that. It doesn't have to cost money. If you want to put some extra time or money into a website to make it, really provide a lot of different services and products that you might offer, fine. But at the very, very least, have a Google site. Google Business is free. They are very careful with how they send out a business's confirmation notes to make sure that business is legitimate. So there are a few steps, but at the end of the day, everything's pretty pretty easy. You just have to follow those steps or hire somebody that can help you out with it and go through that process. Social media pages are free to build. Even if you build one page with your phone number and a direction for those people to go in order to get a hold of you. That's all you need. And
Mhm.
then at least there's not somebody else covering that and washing away your ability to be seen. Um, with the radio station in particular, we advertise commercials on air. So with the complete overwhelm of what's found on social media, that radio commercial, when it comes to this hyper local options that Golden West provides, it pushes people to those sites. So whether they have to be directed to somewhere, right? So to remember a phone number these days is not as easy, but to remember a name and to plug that into your Google search, then you have to have something come up, right? And that's where that free one page Google Sites comes in, or your social media pages. You have to have some kind of a presence on there,
Mhm.
and it's gonna, our job as a broadcasting company is to push all of the what I call fish towards your brand. So when they open up social media and they're blasted with 700 different companies that are all similar to your industry, and they see yours, they recognize it, they're familiar with it, and it's mentally what they want to go towards, because you're not going to find very many scammers and spammers on the radio, right? So it's kind of that word of mouth referral,
There's that
repeat.
vetting process to make sure that, because there, I would assume there's also that Golden West wants to make sure they are working with organizations that are trustworthy, that people are going to know, like, and trust.
That's right.
And so it's not just, oh, here, we're going to take this person's money. It's also, hey, I want to make sure they are credible.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's not just throwing in your credit card into a social media platform and clicking, I want 3,000 views from who knows where, right? It's you're having a conversation with somebody like myself. We're sitting down, we're having a whole conversation about how we can make sure that this marketing is going to suit exactly what you need. And then, you're talking about the campaigns that we're going to be running. So it's not just going to happen overnight with a credit card being plugged into a machine.
Yeah.
And the people listening know that.
The importance of local versus going and throwing in that credit card and going, I need 3,000 views. You don't know where you're getting.
That's right.
Whereas with something like broadcasting, you are targeting that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
What else is really important to you? I'm hearing the element, and you shared a lot of really free aspects that people can do that are marketing. But what about strategy? What do you find is really important? I am a big advocate as a systems business coach of making sure that everything has some sort of a strategy between your website, your social media, how you're doing your advertising process, as well as, okay, if you've got a book and a podcast, all of that has to have a flow. What's your thoughts on that?
Sure. I mean, again, it really depends on the client, because what I don't like to do is create a strategy and flow that they're going to go, holy smokes,
Mm.
I can't do this. And then they shut down. So again, that's where I kind of go back to the free versions of all of these things, and it being as simple as having your brand name and a phone number on every one of these things and saying, call us for service. Now, obviously, past that, our general rule is we can get them to you, and then how you service them and treat them after they've gotten to you is really up to you.
Mhm.
So, you know, oftentimes I've seen people with websites that are not relevant at all to today's day. Maybe it has something about spring and it's the middle of winter. So making sure that everything is updated, um, and the phone numbers are actually linked to a proper phone number,
Mm.
and the emails are linked to an actual email where people are going to be checking that on a daily basis. Your messengers, all these things people they get so overwhelmed with. There's WhatsApp and there's Signal and there's social media, Meta, and there's all these different things coming at them from different places. And they just are overwhelmed again and can't keep up. But there's so many auto responses nowadays that you can have, like, listen, this isn't being monitored. Please call this number and we will help you out right away. Whatever you're doing, make sure that you're leading them to where you want them to go. If it's a phone call and that's the best way that you can reach out to your clients and service them, then lead them to your phone number every single time. Set up those auto responses. And if you don't know how, hire somebody to do that for you, because as soon as that's set up, you can kind of set and forget if you had to, right?
Right.
But you have to have it set up.
Yeah. Love the concept of stop the overwhelm, start with simplicity. If you don't know, talk to an expert to help you get set up, because that will inevitably save you money in the long run.
That's right.
Because you're not missing out opportunities, you're not missing phone calls, you're not missing out on emails that could potentially be business. And once you're ready to scale, then scale with purpose.
That's right.
So it's really looking at helping clients move from from scattered to structured,
100%.
and then looking at scaled.
That's right.
Yeah.
I really like to bring it all back to the basics, right? You just got to ground yourself again. And it seems impossible in these days, right? And that's where coming back, that's why I ended up in the broadcasting world. I mean, in the real estate industry, I probably spent $20,000 in about 18 months and I was building all my own websites and setting up all my own pages, all my own platforms, getting all the memberships between LinkedIn and Facebook. And, I was paying for all the extras to be premium on everything and really diving into it. And it was great. But at the end of the day, do people trust me? Do they know who I am? Am I getting the word of mouth out there by trusted individuals? Because at the end of the day, no matter how much money I spend online, I'm just another name in the crowd.
Right.
And there's so many people that have so much money and so much time invested into their social media platforms that it's just overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so I had to really bring myself back. And, it's almost depressing, right? Because the putting yourself out there and spending so much money and so much time on these websites and all these social media platforms just to be bombarded with a million others. And you're like, well, who am I in this huge crowd, right? And so to kind of take it back, ground myself, be, again, back to the basics, where the broadcasting, that's where it took me, right? I've told you this story before, but, on the farm with my dad, he's going through a tough time in life, like many people were in those days on the farm. And we're driving in the grain truck and we're listening to AM 1190, which is a Golden West broadcasting station in Saskatchewan. And, he's singing to the music and just, regardless of what kind of day he was going through, he'd be listening to the radio. And the radio is a safe place for people. It's safe. It's not full of spam and scammers and all that. They're local people that are supporting the community. And I really do believe in my heart that any city community out there that has a Golden West broadcasting station is extremely lucky. And you can almost feel it when you go into these towns, the difference, because they've got this station that is hyper local to that area. And they only ever talk about community events and community news. It's not talking about what's happening in Toronto or what's happening in the States or across the ocean. We're talking about what's happening right here in our own communities. And that to me is really, really special, because without that support and without community, these small businesses, they won't never make it, right? That's where the big corporate companies really come in and take over. And that can be a scary thought to think about, right? So,
well, being able to connect and understand what's happening in your own local market is really, really important. And that's the value. The other thing that you shared the other night when we were talking was the how people may not remember necessarily where they heard it, but they heard it. And in the area of marketing, it's not just what you're seeing, but what you're hearing, what you're reading really helps to make an impact on individuals. So they may not have recognized that on that drive to work, they were hearing your business name or what you bring, but when they go, oh, I need that service, they're going to jump out and go, oh, you know what? I need to talk to John Smith's whatever it is and make that phone call and recognize, oh, there it is on my social media feed. Yeah, okay, I know, like, and trust that individual. In your realty business, how does this come to life?
Sorry, how does what come to life?
Well, just the art of marketing, because you've got a lot of education, a lot of experience in this. So how do you use this in your other side of your business?
So with real estate, it's a little bit of a different story, but I have utilized real estate. I've been on some really big teams that were extremely good at marketing. And I've utilized all of these incredible people that I've met throughout the years, less as what I'm going to do for myself, but what I can do for other people. I've learned what different people have done to market their companies and what's worked. I'm really, again, a curious person. So when I see somebody's just crushing it, I'm like digging a little bit into what they're doing. Why is it that I think that they're crushing it? Because they might not be, but it appears to me that they are. And so therefore, I'm curious if there's other realtors out there that are kind of complaining because there's another agent that's sort of taking over. I'm like, ooh, I wonder what they're doing. So marketing really does, for some reason, just resonate with me. And so rather than using it in my own real estate world, I've more used it towards broadcasting and helping other people with their companies, if that makes sense.
So I'm really hearing that you want to help support others, bring
100%.
out their business,
That's right.
and celebrate the things that they want to bring to the world.
Sure.
Wow. Now, the other topic that I want to talk about is work-life harmony, because you've got a busy household.
I do, yeah.
Yes. So as a busy working mom, how do you make it work?
I don't, but I think as a mom, I mean, the word is you do what you got to do every day, right? And they've kept me going. I mean, I'm not sure I would even be here if it wasn't for my kids, to be completely honest. So, I include them in my work as much as I can. And I'll give them little goals. Hey guys, if I hit this target at work, we're all going to do this together. And then they're encouraging me to, oh, how did that go? And they're involved in my work, which is really fun. And I've watched them grow into little entrepreneurs themselves. It's pretty amazing to see. So I'm glad that I've had that opportunity. And even in real estate, when I do a deal, they go up themselves and they each one at a time get to mark off that next, client that I've had an opportunity to work with. Right now I'm working on a slogan for a local company and they're trying to find something kind of witty and edgy. So my kids are helping me with that, right? And anybody who comes up with the winning slogan is going to get a little prize. So including them in my life has been a big, huge part of that.
Yeah.
Since the very beginning.
Being able to have them experience the ability to be an entrepreneur,
yes,
is huge. I mean, I met one of your kids, and my goodness, what a firecracker.
Yeah.
Right? So you must have done something that helps to encourage that. So, like, what are the things if you were to give advice to another working parent? I don't want to say working mom, but another working parent that's like, oh my goodness, I want to make sure that there's harmony.
Sure.
What would you provide to them?
I think just including them, letting them know what's happening at work. I mean, it's obviously to a certain extent. I try not to bring finances up on a regular basis because I don't ever want money to be the basis of what they do and why they do it. So I try to be careful with that. I mean, I think naturally in most households, finances is heard. But yeah, just including them in the fun part of work, right?
Mm.
It's yes, there's work and yes, there's a lot behind it. And I let them know that and they see me, doing my work as well. But um, making a point to really set down your phone, set everything down, have their time with them, listen to them as well, and then showing them the realistic part of life, right?
Mhm.
It's not hiding it. It's not this is work and I'm never have to go to work. I just get to go to work. This is something I'm choosing to do today. And it's not time management, it's choice management.
Isn't it
right?
amazing that that one word, have to versus get to go to work,
That's right.
shifts that?
Yeah.
One of the things we do in the Pratt Wright household is we make sure we sit down at dinner every night at the
Right.
kitchen table, and we talk about 3 good things that have happened. And so when our youngest is home with us, we share custody. He drives that and is always
Oh,
on that.
awesome.
And so it's what can we celebrate every moment? And then it's about the sharing. Yeah, I love that.
That's awesome.
So I want to thank you very much for
Oh.
such an open, honest conversation about life and real estate and business. That is it for today's episode. Thanks for being a part of the conversation. Until next time, keep showing up, stay curious, and lead with heart.